Good morning. Welcome to another move session at an adjusted time again. Thank you very much for accommodating my schedule this week. All right, let's get started. We're going to be doing bands today. We're using the bands, so if you have those handy, that's great. All right, so starting out, still waking up, you guys. Starting out with some gentle twists and reaches, loosening up that spine, loosening up the hips. Day 3, no yoga in the morning. It's been a week, you guys, it's been a week. So loosening up the spine and the hips and just kind of increasing the blood flow, increasing the oxygen to the working muscles, to the muscles that are going to be working. Take kind of note of how does your body feel? Is it stiff? Is it sore? Are you feeling the last couple workouts we did? Do you feel great? Are you loosey-goosey? Maybe it's not first thing in the morning there for you, and you feel great and you're awake already. Just be aware of how your body feels and go with how it feels instead of fighting against how it feels. So I am definitely still waking up, and so that's why I love this first round of warm-up where we do low impact and we're just basically getting movement, blood flow, oxygen to the body, and we're also warming up the mind because honestly sometimes we do these things and our mind is not actually checked in, right? We're going, I don't want to do this, I'm tired, I don't feel like it. And so if you can learn to kind of go slow and work with that level of resistance that you have, by the time we get to the actual work, you will feel ready. Like your mind will be like, okay, we got this. Instead of increasing resistance, you diffuse the resistance. If you can learn to warm up slowly. One of the lessons that I used to teach runners when I used to coach specifically long distance runners, and I would always say like your first 2 to 3 kilometers, so 15-20 minutes, it doesn't matter how fast you run. Whereas so many people go out and they want to like clock that specific time in that first kilometer, like they never want to slow down. And I had a guy who took me very literally. He would go out and do like a 7-minute first kilometer. Like he would run so slow, and his actual workout would be in the 4-minute case sort of range. And so I was always so proud of him because somebody who runs 4-minute kilometers is usually very adverse mentally to running a 7-minute kilometer. So the point of that is it doesn't matter, right? Like whatever you're doing now, however your body is feeling now, it's warming up. It's not primed and ready yet for the workout. So just kind of lean into it. Once that blood flow increases, once your heart rate increases so that you can meet the demands that your body has for oxygen, you'll be like, I actually feel a lot better now. So just sort of something to always keep in mind. So we're finishing our first round of warm up here with low impact, and I'm going to add a hop. And your choice is to add the hop with me or to keep it at low impact, whatever is right for you at this given time in your journey, or even just this given day on your journey. Like I said, you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days. In all honesty, the good days are less frequent than the bad days, especially in the beginning. I think now that my fitness has improved, I do have more good days, or days that I view as good, and that's a whole nother conversation. Maybe stop trying to attach meaning and expectations to what you think it should look like, right? And just do what you can, and let the journey unfold in front of you. So I said yesterday I probably wouldn't have to change today's workout because my son is playing high school baseball, so they had a loss there yesterday. It was they've lost every game. They've never won a game. And so I thought yesterday they would go play their 2 games, probably lose, and we wouldn't be going back today. But lo and behold, they won their very first game yesterday. They actually almost won both games. They're like this little diamond in the rough team. There's a lot of really good players on the team, but they don't have like that, I don't know. My husband and I talk about this all the time watching, so we have 3 boys that play, so you can see there's holes or gaps in each team, right? Maybe it's the infield, maybe it's their pitching, maybe they're not hitting, whatever, right? They were up 7-1. They were winning 7-1, and they lost. in one inning, they lost that big lead. The other team tied it up. They played a final inning, and the other team scored and ended the game. So it was sort of heartbreaking because that would have been their first win, and it was against one of the, there's 2 really good teams, and then there's 2 meh teams. I wouldn't say meh, but just not really good. 2 teams stand apart. It was one of those teams. They almost beat them. But that's the mark of a true team, a truly good team. In sport or athlete is when you can be down and not fall too far, right? Like one of my coaches in business always says, everybody's going to fall, right? It's just the successful people, they don't fall far and they don't fall for long. So they get right back up. They don't let themselves stay down. And that's what I've observed with my kids in team sports is when the team becomes really solid, they don't get rattled by that bad inning, because I swear every game, each team has a bad inning. And they just, anyway, it was too bad. But they play that same team again this morning. And then probably they'll lose. I don't know, I shouldn't manifest that, but I'm hoping they win. If they win this morning, they go on to the finals. You know, that's what I love about sport, right? Like, what statistically should happen almost never happens, right? Like what the team that's expected to win often doesn't. I used to watch a lot of running because my daughter was a competitive runner through high school and university. And the person who leads the race almost never wins the race. So it's like sport is so fun that way. I know what should happen today, what will probably happen today, but I'd love to see an upset. Whew. It is warm in here today. I'm gonna open this garage on break. So we're doing Tabata today. We're going to focus on some banded stuff. Figure out where oh, they're there. Grab my bands, some single leg stuff, of course, some core, maybe a little bit of cardio thrown in, just to get our sweat glands going. All right, who's joining me live today? Who made it? Yay, Yvonne, you made it. I was like, I thought pretty sure I'm gonna be by myself this morning. I'm not sure if Darcy made it live. I don't think Darcy does the replay. Whew. Okay, I gotta open this garage. All right, grab your bands. You're gonna need your step. If you have a step or a chair or bench, anything that you normally would step up on or squat on. A chair would work just fine. for this instance. We're going to be sort of sitting on it, but we're going to do a cardio one to start. Just change my timer here. Picked up my daughter yesterday, so she's home. Okay, we're going to do TH jacks and we're going to do half burpees. Okay, so both of these you can do low impact if you're a beginner, if you're just starting, if you need to drop, you just drop the jump. Okay, so TH jacks is going to be like this if you're doing low impact, and half burpees is going to be like this if you're doing low impact. Okay, and you can modify anything that you need. If you can't, for some reason, do even the low impact that I offer, change to bicep curls, you can do air squats, you can completely change. All right, let's start with TH jacks. Getting our heart rate up a little bit in the beginning. Working on some quick feet. In and out. I went to pick my daughter up at the airport yesterday, and I said to her, so she landed at 6:30, I said, okay, I'm not going to go into the airport until you're at the curb. So message me. I'll park around the corner. Message me when you're ready. Well, so I left my house figuring, if anything, I'm going to be late. Whew. The legs are burning on those today. If anything, I'm going to be late. So I was like, motoring to the airport, thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be late to pick her up. Which was actually supposed to be the plan. So I don't know why all of a sudden I got a panic about being late. Anyway, I get there. This was all because I didn't want to park the car in paper parking. I just wanted to do one of those drive-bys, swoop by, pick her up. It's the Toronto Pearson Airport. It's a big airport. They don't let you sit at the curb and wait for people, of course. Yvonne, what's your airport like? Is it like massive? I mean, I know your country's small. Actually, in general, what are the airports like? Because I know that it's quite common, in Europe to fly between countries, I think, right? Or do you guys just drive? I don't even know. Do you just drive, take trains? I know you took a boat recently, a train and a boat. Anyway, Toronto Pearson is a major airport. So I pull in. It's always, I just find it intimidating, right, to go to the airport. Like, there's so many people, everybody's in a rush, everybody's going like this all through the roads in the airport. Trying not to get in people's way. And it seems so intimidating, like it seems so big. And yesterday I found out just how small it is, because I pulled up to the curb to pick her up. Well, she didn't even have her bag yet. So I thought, okay, I can't stop. I'll do a loop around the airport. Thinking, I don't know, can you do that? I didn't know if you could do that. I didn't know if I left, if I was going to end up back on the Toronto highway. Yes, you can do a loop. There is a loop around that stays within arrivals. And so that's what I did. I looped around, came back to the curb. She still wasn't ready. So I did that 5 times. five times around. And there was actually people within that loop parked on the side, which is totally not allowed. And I'm such a rule follower. And I thought, if they're paying attention, they've now seen me drive by them 5 times and think that I'm a lunatic. I keep waiting for the clock. That's it. That's round one. So by the 5th time, I thought, I gotta go park somewhere. First of all, I'm getting tired of driving. The loop that I thought was so big is very small. You're around it in like 1 or 2 minutes. So one or 2 minutes and I'm back to pick her up again. And I thought that's enough of that. So I figured it out, you guys. I figured out what the trick is at the Toronto airport. There's a cell phone parking lot, waiting lot, that you just go and sit and wait for your person to say, I'm here for you to pick me up now. You don't drive around and around and around and around, like that's ridiculous. So that's what I did. Okay, so we're gonna try these. I can't remember which one I put where. Okay, so I'm using 2 bands. Now, if you're a beginner, you don't even need to use bands. If you've been doing this with me for a while, you can use 1 or 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to do 1-legged or 2-legged squats. So again, if you are a beginner, you're going to do 2-legged squats on the step. So you're just going to sit down to the step, squat back up. Sit down to the step, squat back up. If you've been doing this with me for a while, you can do the 2 legs as well, but with the bands. And if you're advanced, you're going to do 1 leg, like that. And try to keep your balance. And you want to try to keep that leg, that knee, straight over your foot. Okay, so that's leg 1. So if you're, like I said, if you're new to this, you can do both legs. Don't do the single legs like I'm doing, because this is more advanced. Woo! You need to get your... So this is to train single leg mechanics. It's to activate the hips and focus on engaging the muscles that keep our hips and legs in alignment, in good alignment. Again, this is a somewhat advanced move. And the other thing is you can do this without the bands. Keep that core pulled in for balance. How are you guys doing for balance? That's the tricky part I'm finding. Okay. So these are called pistol squats, and my goal is, by the time my race comes around, to be able to do these without the bench. Now, one way to practice these is to have, like, I've actually used a TRX strap up against something for balance. I used to, when I was really well trained, be able to do pistol squats. They're tricky. They can be hard on your knees if the supporting muscles aren't strong enough. That's why I want you to modify to whatever you need to do. And doing just squats on the bench is fine. You can also modify to just basic air squats, right? Don't even use the bench, just squatting. So lots of options. There's no right or wrong. It's just where you're at, right? So listen, if you're at your beginning, if you're on your chapter 1, that's not wrong. In fact, that's very, very right. If you're starting, you know, there's a saying that I hear a lot in my industry: don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter, 27 or 17, right? We compare ourselves to somebody who's way ahead of us, and that's not fair. Or you compare yourself to you when you were on a different chapter of your life, right? Like, I've been guilty of that myself, thinking, hey, like I used to be able to do this and now I can't, and that makes me, you know, not good enough. Well, it has nothing to do with not being good enough. I'm just at a different place, right? Sometimes it's like, oh, you just had a baby, or you had a lot in life going on and you stopped taking care of yourself as well. You stopped doing the things to look after yourself, right? I think that was it. That doesn't reflect on who you are as a person, it just reflects on where you're at on your path, right? So, okay, little break. We head into the next one. Okay, I can't believe I'm having us do these because I hate them. But we're gonna do lunge jumps. Okay, so lunge jumps is our advanced move. Our beginner move is going to be just lunges. Okay, lunges. And those of you who want the advanced move, we're doing lunge jumps. One of my least favorite things, but that's why we're doing it. I'm sorry that you have to pay the price for my least favorite things. All right, let's go. Lunge jumps. So make sure that chest stays up. We used to have a client that loved these, and she would go so fast. I was like, I don't know how you do that. My legs burn, like right now. Woo! Okay, and we're alternating with squat jumps. Now we're just gonna do squats. Okay, so squatting. So we want chest up. Okay, so one of the ways I like to cue this is get your hands behind your head. We call these prisoner squats. Cock the butt. That's gonna keep your spine from curling at the bottom of the movement. And we want that because we want the spine locked into place. All right. Again, you want to make sure the weight is back and not in the kneecaps. Oh, 2 down, 2 to go. You saw me cheat on this a little bit. Okay, so that spine is locked, so you want to almost cock your butt, pulling your core. Okay? Driving the knees out. This is one of the best ways to do squats if you have bad knees. A lot of people think if you have bad knees, you can't do squats. Now, I'm not saying if they hurt, don't necessarily do them, because I can't, one of the drawbacks to these classes is I can't see what you're doing. But if you can get to a point, don't write off squats because you have bad knees. Don't write off running because you have bad knees. The key is we want to strengthen the muscles supporting the knees to take the pressure off the knees, and squats is one of the best ways to do that. So you want to be slightly turned out, your toes, and you want to have a wider stance. This allows you to use more of the hips than the quads. And you start to develop strength in the hips, the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, and that starts to take all of the stress out of the knees. Whew. Okay. But again, you have to listen to your body. When you're feeling pain, that, you know, it's not just the kind of pain that I feel that makes me want to stop doing lunge jumps, which is just burning muscles. If you feel pain that doesn't feel right, you need to stop. You need to change what you're doing. And you're always free to message me and ask me any questions. What I recommend is if you're unsure about form, or if a move is bothering a certain body part, your knees, then reach out. I can help figure out what the problem is. Might get you to video yourself doing the movement and send it to me. Then I can see, hey, what are you doing, and how can we fix your form so that you're not hurting yourself, right? Woo! Okay. Next up, we're going to do hydrants. So you're going to need your bands again. So we did cardio, bands, cardio. Go back to bands. So you're going to have your bands around your knees this time. And you're going to lift. You're going to be doing hydrants. So in a all fours position. All right, ready? Let's go. So you're lifting. So I want you to really focus on this one, that your hip bones are facing down, and you're lifting, but you're not turning, okay? Lifting, not turning. Don't do that. You just want to lift that leg. Okay, so lifting, pull that belly button in. This is an extremely effective core exercise if you do it right, which is that you want to pull that belly button in to stabilize those hips as you're lifting. So you're pulling that belly button in to stabilize, and you're just lifting that leg. I used to always compare it to, you know, if you have a Barbie doll, like her only one limb moves at a time. So you want to think about a Barbie doll. And you don't need hands to do this one. You want to lift from the knee, not the foot. You should be feeling this in your abductors, so your outer glutes, hips. I'm sweating today. It must be humid out. I didn't think it was supposed to be hot today. This should be the last session that I have to change the time, at least for a little bit. Unless they make OFSA, which they have to win. They have to win 2 games today. I mean, it's possible, but it's improbable. Think that's it? No, one more per side. So really pull that core in. These are really good for hip mobility too. This will make up for me not doing yoga this morning. This is one of those exercises that done well is really hard. Like done correctly is really challenging, but it's really easy to cheat on. So if you're not feeling your hips and not feeling your core, then you're probably not doing it as effectively as you can be. I mean, both hips you should be feeling, because one has to stabilize you and one's lifting. Whew. Okay, our next one, we're going into those presses, alternating presses. Seriously sweating here. Okay, I'm gonna go right into those. We're doing 2 more. Okay, so you want your band on your feet for this one. Okay, and you're pressing. You want to press all the way out and down. I think it's Jen Sharp that likes these. And then switching to the other side. Again, you can do these without a band. You don't need a band. You want to keep that leg in control, pressing that lower back into the floor, really extending that one leg, keeping the other leg in place. So this weekend, for May Move Month, I thought it would be fun to do a weekend where we focus on steps. I thought if we track our steps for the weekend, and we try to come up with creative ways to get the numbers higher, right? So say parking, farther than you normally would away from the grocery store if you're running errands. Maybe before and after dinner, you go for a walk. I'm going to be at baseball all weekend, so my goal is to walk, because we usually have to be there early before every game. So to walk instead of sitting around, I'll go for a walk or a run. I should have picked last weekend when I did a 13-hour hike, but I picked this weekend. But I didn't want to do it on the long weekend. So hoping some of you will join us in that. I'm doing an accountability thread in the Pursuing Wellness group. So if you're not in that, let me know and I can add you. And basically each day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we will track our steps. So we'll write down the totals. And then I'll tally them at the end of the weekend and see how many steps we did as a group, which will be fun. And I'll do a draw for people who posted for accountability for some prizes, some fun prizes. So that's this weekend's adventure. I'll be posting about, and then I have 2 more hikes scheduled. I'll be posting about that in the group today. For anybody who's local, they'll be in, I believe they're both going to be in Rouge Valley again. So I think my son has a game near there. Okay, that is that. And we're going to finish with a core set. very important to our well-being, to our resilience, to our injury prevention. And that's why we're going to finish with horse. We're going to do plank and boat. And then we're done. All right, let's go. Right into low plank. And then this will cover our core. And it'll cover our plank. And we just need to do push-ups to finish to get our iron will in. Okay, flipping over. We're going to go into boat. So you can do boat. If you need to make it easier, you can bend your legs. The lower your legs are, the harder it is. You can put your arms up above you. You want your back pressed into the ground. You can have your arms here. You can have your arms to the side. You can add pulses. Boats are tough, man. They really creep up on you. So again, modified boat however you need to. Just make sure that lower back, there's no space or hollowness underneath. You want that lower back pressed in, the core pulled in. And don't forget to breathe through it. Sometimes when I was talking to my kids about this the other day, we were talking about hitting home runs and, I said, there's a saying in running, slow down to speed up. But another kind of way of saying that is relax to speed up. And so I remember speaking to Renelle's running club coaches when she was in high school. And one of them said to me, the key to getting to running faster is you have to relax your body. So if you think about, let's say you go and run your very fastest down the street right now. What happens? What happens is extreme resistance. Your body tenses, right? Under any kind of stress or duress, what happens is our body tenses. And when our body tenses, a lot of your effort and energy goes into the tension. Those of you who have had children and you've gone through labor, right? When you're going through labor, your body tenses during the contractions. And what do they teach you to do to get through the contractions? They want you to relax. It's the exact opposite of what our instincts and intuition tell us to do. But it works in the gym too. Like when you're feeling it, like you're holding plank and you'll notice you'll start to tense, right? Now you don't want to relax your muscles because you want your muscles, but you want to let go of that resistance, if you will. So one of the ways to do this is to focus on your breath, breathing through it. Breathing into whatever body part is the one that's causing the burn or the tension. For me right now, it's my core. Woo! And that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me again and for modifying the time. I'm wishing you all an amazing weekend. Everyone send good vibes to my son's team today and hope that they pull out at least one win. Have an awesome day, guys.